Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Kira Shior, and I just want to make sure quickly that you can hear me and see my screen. You should be able to see a little hand on the screen. Yeah, feel free to raise the hand just for me to know that you can actually hear me and see my screen. Should be a blue screen saying Amazon Global Logistics. Okay, I see some hands going up. Perfect. So I'm assuming that you can hear me and that you can also see my screen. Great news. And let's give it a couple more minutes for more people to join. So I think we can get started at 5 past. Okay, and I see already the first questions coming in. This is great. I will, please feel free to drop the questions at any point. I will answer them in the end of the webinar because I don't have access to them while I'm sharing my screen. But yeah, feel free to ask questions at any time. I will be later on answering them in the Q&A session. Okay, I think we can nearly get started. So I will, introduce myself again. My name is Kira Schibor. I'm with Amazon Global Logistics for a bit more than 4 years. Super excited to be hosting you today for our webinar on Amazon Global Logistics with the cross-border integrated supply chain and also introducing our new solution, Amazon Warehousing Distribution. Okay, then we can kick it off. I will quickly also check that you can still see my screen. So you should be seeing the agenda now. I quickly want to check that we are all seeing the same thing. But yeah, today we will be discussing basically Amazon Global Logistics. I will give you a quick overview again about our service, what we are offering, our supply chain service, routes and transit times, the placement options that we have available, and then also FAQs and resources, and then for you to kind of ask questions on the new launch of our service. Great. So I think a lot of you already know Amazon Global Logistics and our supply chain solution from China into the fulfillment centers. But I quickly want to repeat for any people who are in the call today and they have not heard about Amazon Global Logistics and what we could offer. So basically just giving some insights into our end-to-end logistics solution from China into the fulfillment centers. And it is really built actually for business growth. So if you need support with your logistics and you're interested in scaling your Amazon business, Amazon Global Logistics is a great solution for you to really get reliable capacity having predictable schedules with us priority access and real-time visibility. You also have cost-effective rates. We are updating our costs on a bi-weekly basis to really have competitive prices on our lanes, China, US, China, EU. We also offer direct fulfillment straight to Amazon fulfillment centers and to the Amazon warehousing distribution facilities, and also simplified operations. I think this is actually one of the coolest benefits, that everything is integrated within Seller Central, so that you do not have to learn about a new platform. Everything is available within Seller Central and integrated into the workflows that you already know with Amazon. Okay. So you might be wondering, how does our logistics solution look like? And actually, I really like this slide here. It's going to be showing you kind of like what Amazon Global Logistics is doing. You can see here we're really like picking up your cargo at the manufacturer. We're doing the origin pickup or drop off. We're doing the customs clearance, the containerization, and obviously also the loading. We're doing the cross-border transportation via ocean freight and air freight at the moment, only US. We're doing the destination customs clearance, containerization, unloading, and then again the delivery to the fulfillment center or to AWD. Okay, I see again there are some questions. I just want to check quickly that you are seeing the right screen and that everything is working. From a tech perspective. Okay, I think I need to re-share my screen quickly. Let me try. There's something wrong right now with my laptop. Give me a second and I will re-share. Okay, should be visible now again. Let me quickly check with you guys that you can see my screen. Okay, should be visible now. So also by the numbers on Amazon Global Logistics, I think something really interesting to mention is how many sellers are actually already actively using our service. And you can see here that we have around 15,000 active sellers at the moment using our slides. We have our service. We have around 290,000 bookings submitted and around 7 shipping lanes that we are using. And this is in the time 2024 to 2025. So more growth to be shown very soon. And then coming back to kind of like the advantages that I was mentioning earlier, I think the Amazon Global Logistics advantage, or kind of like what sets us apart, is really that you have exclusive network benefits. So with Amazon Global Logistics, you would be sending straight to the fulfillment center. You can really improve downstream efficiencies by not having multiple steps in your supply chain and by managing everything just with one freight forwarder. As you saw in the other slide, everything is really covered by us. You have preferred routing automatically that direct shipments closer to the fulfillment center to ports for faster inventory availability. And you are also having the advantage of an end-to-end supply chain management, be basically freight transportation, shipping, routing, and trade services, customs brokerage. And I think the competitive edge here is really the single integrated solution in Seller Central, the all-inclusive pricing that you have with AGL, and also the reduced handling costs. And summing this up is basically speed, reliability, low cost, and simplicity. And to put this in a little bit of context, with AGL, you're faster because you do not have the stops in your supply chain. Reliable because you book shipments with predictable and efficient shipping schedules, meaning you are booking a shipment and you can already see the window when your cargo is going to be delivered. Low cost, so you basically have lower inventory handling costs and overhead costs through efficient supply chain management and competitive rates. You have MCID consolidation to combine ship fewer fuller containers, and you also have the simplicity of getting a quote, booking, tracking, and paying everything in Seller Central. And I saw also the question in the chat, so where do we ship from? So with Amazon Global Logistics, it's really from mainland China and Hong Kong to United Kingdom, Europe, United States, and Japan. So this is kind of like the Amazon Global Logistics side of the business. And here, kind of like the end-to-end supply chain solution on what we would be doing or handling for you. So really end-to-end with end-to-end pricing, and also highlighting here the Amazon warehousing distribution. And I think this is what I already saw in the chat that I quickly want to answer. So the first part of the presentation is really on Amazon Global Logistics specific, but the Amazon warehousing distribution is also available for sellers that say we have cargo in Europe that we want to send to AWD. We have cargo in the UK that we want to send to AWD. We do not have imports from China. That is completely fine. Amazon Global Logistics just offers you the possibility to bring in your cargo from China directly to Amazon warehousing distribution. Let's hope that answers your question. So cool. Coming onto Amazon warehousing distribution, you might be wondering, what is this? We need some more details on this. So happy to explain here. So Amazon warehousing distribution is our pay-as-you-go bulk storage solution. What does this mean? So AWD was constructed to really allow sellers long-term storage before the fulfillment centers, and you can really benefit here from lower storage cost versus what you would be getting in the fulfillment center, just because it's really built for long term. So you can send in your inventory for, let's say, 3 months, you can send it for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, really up to you and how you want your supply chain to work. And then everything that is in AWD, you can automatically replenish to the fulfillment center or manually replenish to the fulfillment center. So whenever you have something that you want to send, you can do this, and you do not have to fear any out of stocks. Whatever is available in Amazon warehousing distribution appears as sellable for the end customer, which I think is really cool and gives you a lot of advantages when scaling your business. So the Amazon warehousing distribution we had in the US marketplace for quite some time now, and we now recently launched 2 new facilities, one in Germany and one in the United Kingdom. We are at the moment in the pilot phase, but this will be launching mid of August, and we're really excited for all of you to use. I think you cannot see my screen again. Okay, let me quickly check that you can see it. I have a little bit of an error today with the tech side, but I will be resharing now. Okay, I should be visible again. So as I mentioned, Amazon Warehousing Distribution just launched in the EU, in the UK. So we were trying to like think from a customer perspective. Yeah, really like challenges that you are facing when you are trying to like grow your business on Amazon, and things that we heard from our sellers and that we took into consideration are really storage limitations. So we know that some sellers are affected by this, that you have difficulties planning inventory and also optimizing the fees that you are facing. There's also sometimes unpredictability in the demand patterns from your customer side. So this can lead to either like stock outs or time-consuming manual replenishment, which just doesn't allow you optimal sales. Then we also have the logistics complexity, managing multiple vendors, 3PLs, across transportation, storage, and distribution. And this just brings a lot of complexity into your business. And this is where we really thought, okay, we want to give our customers a solution here. And there you can see the Amazon warehousing distribution features come into place. And I think this slide shows it really nicely because you can really see the storage limitations. We looked at how can we make bulk storage available for you. So you have here the pay-as-you-go model with flat rate pricing, with no seasonal fee. Increases and also with no limits. For the demand patterns, you can see that you have the automatic replenishment from AWD to FBA based on real-time demand signals. For the logistics complexity, you can really see here you're shipping into one single location, native FBA integration in a simplified workflow. So really streamlines your operations, makes it less complex. And you can see the benefits that you're getting out of the AWD features. So for the predictable bulk storage, you actually can scale freely now because you don't have to worry about storage fees, any punishment fees. Yeah, well, with the automated replenishment, you don't have to worry about staying in stock anymore. Everything will be replenished as quickly as possible. So everything will be appear buyable from a customer perspective, lowering your stock out and also loss of sales risk. For the streamer operations, you can really see here where you're basically optimizing your operation because you just have one single solution for storage and replenishment, and you eliminate the multi-partner coordination, which can bring a lot of risk into your business. Coming back to the Amazon Global Logistics and AWD, since this is still an Amazon Global Logistics presentation, I want to go back onto this and how this actually fits within the Amazon supply chain services. So you can really see here with Amazon Global Logistics, you would be covering the first part, the freight and logistics from China to the fulfillment center EU, UK, and US. And with the Amazon warehousing distribution, you would be then using to deliver to the fulfillment center and later on also to the multi-channel fulfillment, which allows you other channels. But at the moment, really, allowing fulfillment to Amazon and to the Amazon stores. Looking at kind of like eligibility for AWD, because I think this is what people also already put into the chat, which is really interesting. So there was the question if AWD allows oversized products. For the time being, it will be standard ASINs only. Most FBA eligible categories are allowed. Even expiration date products will be allowed if they have a shelf life of 185 days. At the moment, we are only allowing pan-EU FBA enrolled SKUs. This is for the AWD in the EU only. It doesn't affect the UK one. And you can also see here kind of the carton sizes. How big is my carton supposed to be? How much is it allowed to weight? So you can feel free to like take a screenshot of this. I will be sharing the recording of the session later on, but you can take screenshots of everything that you see here. So feel free to do so. For the ineligibility of products, you can see here that there are some as well. So not only the oversized and heavy and bulky items are part of it, but also gift cards, jewelry, watches, heat-sensitive products, refrigerated goods, and also hazmat and dangerous goods are at the moment items that we do not allow in AWD. But usually we're working on adding more categories, on hearing the feedback from our customers and our sellers. So we're really trying to make it work for you. Okay, looking at the AWD features or capability summary, you can see that we differentiate a little bit between the EU and the United Kingdom. Just want to go through this briefly. So you need to be an FBA registered seller to be using AWD. You need to have the VAT. For the EU, you need to have the German VAT, plus at least one other EU country, whether that's France, Italy, Poland, Spain, doesn't really matter, but you need to have 2 VATs from EU countries. For the UK, you only need the UK VAT. We allow expiry dated SKUs in both marketplaces. We don't allow select lithium batteries. We don't allow hazmat, we don't allow oversize, but we do allow shoes and apparel. We don't allow oversized products or cartons at the moment. And here also really important, only single SKU cartons are allowed for the time being. So please do not do multi SKU cartons and stick to the single SKU cartons with the AWD for both EU and the UK marketplace. And continuing here, you can really see the automatic replenishment is available, but if you're saying you want to use the manual replenishment, that is also completely fine. You can also use this. There is no minimums or maximum when it comes to then you will have the multi-channel distribution availability. Not yet. It will be launching for both marketplaces, but for the beginning we don't have this. Value-added services like labeling and packaging, we do not have available as of now, but you have unlimited storage capacity. You have unlimited inbound quantities, which is really nice. You have also a few requirements of SKU per shipment and also cartons per shipment when it comes to the maximum. So feel free to like take a screenshot here. This is usually a good slide to like look at. Just to know how you need to prepare your goods and how you would need to prepare your order for AWD. So yeah, feel free to take a screenshot. You can also see here that we are mentioning again the pan-EU requirement for the EU, for EU only, of course. So you would see that pan-EU is a requirement from the SKU perspective for the launch of AWD. Later on it will change, but for now you would need to have your VAT registration in 2 different EU countries, and also your SKUs that you're planning to ship must be pan-EU eligible. Yeah, looking at the UK marketplace, is there the seller trade compliance required? The EIN for sellers not registered or based in the UK is not required. I think this is something that everyone will be really interested in, kind of like the AWD pricing structure and also the rates. You can see here, this is how the rates in the AWD are coming together. You can see that it exists of an inbound placement fee, of a storage fee, of an outbound fee, and of a transportation fee. This is first to really like import your cargo into AWD, to then store your cargo, to then process the cargo ready for transportation to AWD, to the fulfillment center again. And you can see that there's also transportation fee. And we actually differentiate in 2 tiers when it comes to the AWD pricing. There is a standard rate and an Amazon managed rate, which will allow you discounted rates by SKU when a specific criteria is met. So looking at these criteria, it's really about using an Amazon managed inbound transportation, for example, Amazon Global Logistics. Meaning if you're using an Amazon internal freight forward to inbound your cargo to AWD, you're getting reduced pricing. If you're using store with AWD, if you are meeting the auto replenishment ratio requirements, or also if you're meeting the historical days of supply requirements. And this already leads us to the pricing. Feel free to take a screenshot here. You can see the UK rates first and then EU rates second. The first one is the base rate that you would have. The second one is the discounted rate if you're using an Amazon managed freight forwarder, or the other mentioned criteria requirements for the discounts to apply. You can see the discount really applies onto the storage fee and also the transportation fee. Feel free to take a screenshot and I will continue. Getting started with AWD. It's actually quite simple. Everything's integrated in Seller Central, so you can just navigate yourself to the Amazon Warehousing Distribution Program page, click Send to AWD, select the SKUs and quantities to ship, and then follow the booking workflow, which basically looks like this in the Seller Central page. But it will basically allow you to create your first shipment to AWD in the mid of August. What customers say about us, this is on Amazon Global Logistics in specific. You can see here the seller spotlight, or one of our sellers, Active or Optim International, actually mentioned that they were able to really grow their business through faster replenishments to FBA when they were using AGL and the AWD combination in the US marketplace. You can also see here a few more seller testimonials. Seller grown actually 166% without any additional headcount. So really going back to what I mentioned earlier when it comes to supply chain optimization and cost efficiencies. And also here, our seller Spigen, who said saves us time and money. The APV Trade Solutions one is really about pricing competitive and convenience. And this would be it from our Amazon Global Logistics and AWD webinar for today. Feel free to scan the QR code here if you're interested to learn more about the service. And then I would be jumping now onto the Q&A session. I will leave this screen open for some time now so that you have enough time to actually have a look at the questions. at the QR code and scan the QR code, and I will be reviewing the questions that you have right now. What is the minimum per shipment is the first question that I'm seeing. There is actually no minimum, Maria. It's only maximum. If you want, I can go back to the slide and you can take a screenshot. Okay. So you can see there's a maximum that you can send per shipment. But apart from this, you should be good to go. Sorry. I should be seeing my screen again. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. I know it really helps when you're creating a shipment, just to have like the requirements in front of you. The other question is when you say you don't have multi-channel distribution availability, does that mean sending goods to Germany does not benefit from pan-EU? Those goods will not be sent to France and Italy? No. Multi-channel distribution allows you to send your cargo to other channels outside of Amazon. So if you're having Shopify, TikTok shops, stuff like this is what we will be launching, but we do not have it right now. So yes, whenever you send your goods to Germany, to the AWD Germany, it will benefit from the pan-EU. This is why you need the pan-EU registration for the products that you want to send. And this is also why I'm asking for the 2 VATs for the EU marketplace. So you would need to have 2 VAT numbers, one in Germany and one from a different marketplace. Poland, Italy, Spain, France. We don't really care. Just that you have them, because it will also be applying. Cool. Going to the next question. Do we get a step-by-step onboarding process and anyone to help me on board with AWD? So the onboarding process is actually not that difficult as you were seeing earlier. It's really just going into the FBA inventory and clicking onto AWD. There are no account managers with AWD for the moment. If you're interested in the Amazon Global Logistics, so if you do have inbound from China, we will support you. So happy to do this. Just let us know if you actually ship from China or not, and if you're interested in our program. But AWD is really integrated in Seller Central, the same workflow as your Amazon FBA POs. So your life should be really easy on this. Does AWD check the expiry dates before goods are transferred to the FBA warehouse? And is the expiry date info available at AWD to sellers? This is a really good question, but really specific. I do not have the answer to this right now. I would need to look and let you know afterwards. I know that we care about the shelf life of a product, and that we wouldn't be really selling anything that is expired, but I would need to check on how our logic will be working there. Regarding the VAT requirement for the EU, the DE VAT registration is required plus 1 additional EU country. For what about a registration from another EU? Is this considered valid, or must it be one of the listed? Must be one of the listed ones as of now. But this is really just for the launch of AWD. Once the launch phase is over, you can actually also send in without this. But for the launch, this is really important. Okay. The question is how the manufacture process needs to pack, apply label to the boxes, and then pack in pallets and then container. Good question. Asad, is this for shipments that would be coming from the UK marketplace to the UK, like to AWD UK? would say here that it's usually you're on the safe side if you're packing everything the same way as you're packing it when it goes to the fulfillment center. So you're getting labels when you're creating a shipment to AWD. So you put the labels the same way that you put it into the fulfillment center, and stick to the requirements that you're using when you're sending straight to the fulfillment center. Okay, so if you're sending from China, actually, yeah, changes a little bit. You can use Amazon Global Logistics, and we usually check that your cargo is, yeah, well prepped. We have kind of like a guide on how everything should be correctly labeled, correctly packed, and also within the container. Yeah. Okay, continuing with the questions. What would happen if an SKU was classified as dangerous good after it's already an AWD? Ooh, this is actually a good question. Would have to look into it, but most likely it's going to be blocked from sales. So ideally prevent this from happening, because then you would need to recommission your cargo from AWD. It wouldn't be like, okay, just because it gets classified later on that you will be allowed to sell this through the AWD replenishment. So I wouldn't really risk it. Yeah, I'm not sure what, I mean, I can see like kind of like what products you are doing, but yeah, we can have a look into this later. I have the contact details from you anyways. So what happens if the stock stays in AWD longer than 3 to 6 months? Does AWD supply stock on the FIFO basis? No, and it actually doesn't matter. It's really made for long-term storage. So even if your cargo is there for 12 months, which I actually have sellers that do this type of strategy, still works. We do not have the first in, first out. So yeah, should be sold relatively quickly. So going back into this, and even if it's not sold really relatively quickly, that's also fine. There's no like punishments or anything to you. Okay, then shipping sources restricted to only China. Can you sell us an inventory to UK and EU AWD from a UK warehouse? Yes, you can do kind of like domestic shipments. I'm just talking about Amazon Global Logistics because this is like I'm an account manager, business development manager for Amazon Global Logistics. This is an Amazon Global Logistics webinar. So this is kind of our focus, but AWD is also available for sellers that do not ship from China, that they're doing domestic replenishments. So yeah, feel free to get started once this is launching in the mid of August. Okay. Is there a plan for a bonded warehouse for movements between EU and UK? This is actually available with Amazon Global Logistics, so that would allow you dual inbound from China to the EU and UK marketplace through like a bonded warehouse, depending how much cargo you need in each. But as of now, from an AWD's perspective, no, this is not available. But it's super cool feedback. Thank you for this. Oh, here's also a question: can we move existing FBA inventory to AWD? Well, it depends on you. You need to recommission your cargo from the fulfillment center and then find a logistics provider who brings it to AWD. So if you find this, you can do this. I just do not have the supply chain solution available to you because I'm part of the Amazon Global Logistics team, but should be technically possible. You just need to get your inventory out of FBA and create an AWD shipment. Then also here is another question. Can we use AWD to fulfill MCF orders? Or does it need to go to a fulfillment center first? Yes, it would go to the fulfillment center first. The MCD does not pick up yet, but we will be launching this later on. And then we have another question here on if this is an AWD plus AGL webinar. Yes, it is an AWD and AGL webinar. Okay, I also see a question from the last webinar. So are there any requirements for UK sellers to be VAT registered to use AWD? Is this for the UK marketplace or for the EU marketplace? Because if it's for the EU marketplace, yes, you need to be VAT registered for Germany and one other pan-EU country. For the UK, you need to also have like the UK VAT registration. Yeah, hopefully this helps. And I see here another question. AWD program is still not available in my UK seller center. Yes, it should not be available right now. It is not officially launched yet. It's launching in the mid of August. Okay, I asked about dangerous goods because sometimes Amazon classify product as dangerous good even though it is not. And after sending all documents and proof, then it's classified as not dangerous anymore. If that is the case, all while having inventory, would it be possible to still say from AWD perspective? Since the program is not launched yet, I would not be able to tell you how this specific scenario would look, but we would have an escalation path available whenever there's an issue going on. I do not think that we would allow sales during the investigation period, but once we allow or say your item is not dangerous, then we should be available to sell your cargo again. I'm pretty sure your cargo is not coming from China, right? Because if it would be coming from China, we can already kind of like classify it earlier to the AWD arrival. But yeah, I think I already know yours are not coming from China. So going back to the questions, how does the Pan-EU program interact with AWD? Yeah, so for the beginning, this is why I'm always like saying you need to be registered in another Pan-EU country. The Pan-EU already picks up automatically. So if AWD transfers inventory to fulfillment centers and other, do we need to have the EPR registration in every country where the stock is stored or sold? I would need to check on this. I'm not 100% sure yet. Okay. Then there's also a question if we are getting a copy of the presentation. No, but you're getting the recording of the session actually. Okay. So for AWD EU, can we ship to UK AWD a domestic shipment? You want to send from AWD EU to UK AWD? Is this correct? This won't be possible. So this would be basically AWD restocking itself. We don't do this at the time of being right now. You can send in from EU to AWD. You can send in from UK to AWD. So you can create domestic shipments, but not in between the different AWD facilities. Okay. Are the features, capability, and process exactly the same as in the AWD US? No, for the time being, no, because this is just newly launching, so we do not. We do not have the same level of services available right now as we have in the US marketplace. This will take a little bit more time. And then there's also a question here, can you send AWD EU to UK fulfillment center? No. AWD EU is strictly for the EU marketplace fulfillment centers. But you can send it to the UK marketplace and UK AWD and then replenish. And then I get here the question for a demonstration. Demonstration is not part of what we are currently supporting, because we're just right now in the pilot stage. Once the service is launched or closer to launch, maybe we can integrate this into our webinars, but for the time being, it is not possible because it's still a pilot. How many items do we need to send when we first ship goods from China to the AWD warehouse? There is no minimum that you have to ship. You can send as little as you want. You only have the maximum requirements from AWD. So I would stick to those. Apart from this, you can send in as little as you would like. And for the people who are shipping from China, we will be reaching out to you anyways from an Amazon Global Logistics perspective, and you're getting account manager support. So if you have a question on the workflow and stuff like this, we will be going through this with you. Then I have another question. Hi, you mentioned hazmat are not allowed. Does it include cosmetics products in limited quantities, such as perfume, makeup items, etc.? I would need to check the ASIN and the SK, like kind of like the ASIN and also the UN code. If this is tagged as hazmat, then it is not allowed. If it is not tagged as hazmat because the product is unknown, I wouldn't go by this information. If it's not tagged as hazmat because we don't recognize it as hazmat, then you're good to go. So it really just depends on your ASIN. But we will need to check this. I cannot make like a general, yeah. statement here. And do you think it will be possible in the near future? I'm not 100% sure for the US marketplace, for example. We also do not offer hazmat as of now. Yeah, it might take a little bit of sight. Okay. Okay, then there was another question on UK VAT exemption. I think my colleague is looking into this. He was probably the one that answered your question last week, and I'm sure he will be coming back to you. And also, let me check the other questions because we do not have so much time anymore. Okay, another question here on does AWD allow me to ship products from UK to EU? No. You need to send in your cargo to AWD UK. If you want to send to UK fulfillment center, you need to send in your cargo to AWD EU if you want to send to EU fulfillment centers. Then how many days does it take to get the UK AWD warehouse from China? Around 55 days at the moment. These are kind of like our lead times because we are only offering ocean freight as of now. So if you're interested in this, it's around 55 days that you would be taking into consideration. Let me see if there's more questions or if I missed anything. There's been a lot of questions, so I'm trying to answer them all. Okay, here's another question. Is it possible to enroll today in AWD? I understand it's not live yet, but is enrollment live? No, actually you can not. You can feel free to like play around in Seller Center and kind of like check if you can already see anything. But at the moment, it is not available. And also the enrollment, you might be thinking, is really complicated. It's actually a lot less complex than you think. It's basically that you're going into the Amazon warehousing distribution section in Seller Central, and there's a button in the top of the page saying enroll program. This is where you will be clicking, and then you're enrolled. It then depends a little bit on kind of like which rights you have in Seller Central, but it's really easy. There's not a lot of time required on this, so it shouldn't be too stressful for you. Then I see another question: do we get the slides, please? Unfortunately, I cannot share them. You will be automatically receiving the recording of the section, of the session, and you will have like someone reaching out to you from Amazon Global Logistics if you put in that you're shipping from China. For customer support, do we still use the same function we have done in Amazon? Yeah, there will be AWD specific support for the customer. From the customer support on AWD, but it won't be account managers. So for example, if you have someone from like the SaaS program supporting you, I usually would recommend that yeah, you also like speak to them. They will also have good knowledge on AWD. But yeah, the customer support stays basically the same, just that you have one that is specific to the Amazon warehousing distribution. Then I got another question here. Does the manufacturer need to send inventory to Hong Kong in China? No other city can transport it. This is up to you how you have your supply chain working with Amazon Global Logistics. You can send from a lot of different ports in China. If you prefer Hong Kong, feel free to ship from Hong Kong. We do offer other origin ports in China. Yes, recording will be shared automatically via email right after the webinar. And then I see here you're selling light bling products. I would have to look into this kind of like the SKU that you have, or the ASIN, just to like see the UN code. I cannot make any like general assumption here, but we can check your ASIN also once this is launched, and you actually see that you can replenish to AWD. We already have information about your products. You're already selling on FBA. If it would be hazmat, then we would know. There are these cases where sometimes you send in products and then our team is a bit like, okay, we need to review this again. But if you have all of the documentation available, then this should be good. I think this is it from the questions that I see. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but I think we're also at time now. So thank you so much for everyone attending. And I know it's a new product. I know there's a lot of questions, which is good. We are trying to like help you as much as possible. We'll be reaching out to you. You're getting the recording. You can also like still ask us on questions. I know we are like Amazon Global Logistics, but usually we're also like trying to help when there's like other questions. Obviously not to the same extent as like the team that with the right expertise could do, but like we are still trying to help. So yeah, thank you all for attending, and then looking forward to speaking to you, and have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.